my god， 这都什么比例啊？ Can you guys see it? Bruh. Oh, it works. 等一下，有点吵。缠结塔下午 Tango Tower 湖边
You ready, Sally?
Grimoire, I've been standing here for 7.5 minutes.
Just checking.
Do you have the map?
Yeah, but it's basically blank. Did you read the case file? What do you think?
I'm not sure yet. It's really not a lot to go on. Did you read it?
Yeah, I'll read it on the way to the crime scene.
受害者 Freya Fellow 19岁，在为 Floria Fellow 画肖像画的时候被杀身亡。地点 Flora 的塔 ，Flora 就在现场，正在为肖像画摆姿势。Freya Fellow 被发现时仰面倒地，胸口上有一丝刺伤。现场没有发现任何凶器，但是 Freya 未完成的画中的主人公手持一把刀，刀尖的红色并不是颜料，而被证明是血。哦。缠结塔一片纸上的小画，背面写着一些笔记，现如今被称为缠结塔，但它其实就是一个被底部的一个宅子连接起来的两座塔，周围被一个环形的湖包围，湖水呈现一种不常见的混合颜色，湖被陡峭苍白的峭壁包围，峭壁太陡太光滑了，无法攀登。缠结塔现在住着 Fellow 家以及 Pointer 家。OK。Freya 啊，好可爱啊！
Is that just rainwater? Looks a little weird.
The birds seem to like it.
They're even singing a little tune. Toot, 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 toot.
Please don't do that.
What are they?
Wind chimes. Silent, wooden wind chimes.
The ground's moist, but it's not muddy. Wonder how often it rains here.
I cannot believe how exciting this murder investigation is already. I tied the boat up to the mooring post, so it'll stay put. For now. Probably.
Loving the confidence.
For now, probably.
It's the little boat we used to cross the lake. It's the only way on or off the island.
What a comforting thought.
Why is the sky...
Not everything is a mystery, Grimoire. The sky can be whatever color it likes.
Do you think anybody's watching us from one of those windows?
Maybe. Let's wave just in case.
The ground's
I cannot believe how exciting.
OK， 看上去没什么要查的。
It's full of the same weird water that was in the lake.
Any fish in there?
Not a single one. Although there is something in there.
It's a cassette tape. Or it used to be.
磁带进水坏掉了，标签上的墨水被模糊了，无法辨认。
It's a statue of some hideous, scaly, bipedal fish monster.
丑恶的有鳞的双足鱼块雕像。
Playing a harp. Hang on a second.
Oh.
This isn't just a regular statue, is it?
Something tells me we're not gonna solve this just yet.
Let's come back later. It must do something.
You'd hope so, wouldn't you? Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's to scare away detectives.
Is it working?
No. It's a stone
Oh.
carving. Wonder how it got cracked.
I think it's supposed to look like that. It's an egg.
What animal is that?
Hawk. Bear. Lizard.
Right, of course, a hawk bear lizard.
Spooky. What do you think it's for?
I think it's
Is it working?
No. It's coin.
Mhm.
You're supposed
It's not. It's an appropriate amount of quiet. It's a bandstand.
Bit small for a bandstand.
It's a one-man bandstand. Oh.
What?
Oh. There's an O on the floor.
Oh yeah, Tangle Tour.
Twir.
True. True.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
Oh yeah, Tangle.
Twir. Is that an envelope?
It's been opened, but the letter's still in there. Let's read it.
Isn't that an invasion of someone's privacy?
No, definitely.
信封已经被撕开了，里面只有一张纸。正确的组合画在另一张纸上，你记住以后毁掉它。我不同意你的观点，你不会在下面找到它的。
A path leading towards the stones.
Do you think he'll start to move if we try to go inside?
No, I think he'll just silently judge us.
早安星空，晚安星空，祝你做个好梦。
Should we ring the doorbell?
Why would we not? It's a little melody.
噔噔噔噔噔噔噔。
Little bird feeder.
How do you know they're for birds? Don't think it's locked.
Oh, that means we can just walk straight in, right?
I'm pretty sure that's the rule, yeah. Let's head to the crime scene first. It's at the top of the west tower, I think.
A big letter F.
Of course. Who doesn't hang a giant banner of their initial in the lobby of their mansion? This one has a big P.
That's probably important.
Probably.
How very P-ceptive of you.
What is that?
I think it's a family tree.
Fiona Fellow, dead center. She must be important.
She's half Fellow and half Remington.
Do you think she still lives here? Freya Fellow.
The murder victim.
She's barely related to the main family at all.
Lord Fellow.
Looks like he was married twice.
Scandal.
Lady Fellow.
Do these people not have first names?
哎，他正在画的那个叫什么啊？Fiona 吗？
Selena.
No family line. Apparently, she just appeared out of nowhere.
Felicia Fellow.
Freya's mother.
Do you think she still lives here?
Damien Dusk.
Whoa. Is it too late to change my name to Detective Dusk?
It's Freya's father. Do you think he still lives here?
Flint Fellow.
A purebred fellow. I've married a randomer, though.
Do you think he still lives here?
Emily Everstone. Do you think she still lives here? Fitz half fellow.
Do you think he still lives here? Felix looks like
Do you think he still lives here? Lord
he
Remington.
sounds important. Lady Remington.
I think I have one of those. Flora
I think she's mentioned in our case file. Primrose Remington.
I always liked the name Primrose.
Do you think she still lives here?
Richard Remington.
The one and only.
Poppy Pointer.
She's half
Do you
Remington.
think she still lives here? Penelope
Half Pointer?
Do you think she still lives here? Pandora.
All this
Do you
alliteration.
think she still lives here? Buck what?
Do you think he still lives here?
Percival Pointer. You married
Do you
into...
think he still lives here? Lady
How
Pointer.
do you become a lady? I want to be a lady. Lord...
This goes back a couple of generations.
A door.
Oh, what's
A
behind it?
room.
It's not locked. It's a big glass.
There are weeds in there.
It's an aquarium?
Could be. Anymore.
上北下南左西。
Let's take a look at that painting first. There it is, the unfinished portrait.
So, what? Freya was killed halfway through painting
Looks
it.
that way.
Freya 没能完成这幅画，因为她在作画的时候身亡。Flora 是挥动着一把刀的样子，刀尖上的红色被证明是血。
I wonder if all of Freya's paintings are this creepy. Maybe it's just because she never got to finish it.
There's something wrong with the crime scene, and something really weird about the murder weapon.
We didn't find a murder weapon.
Flora Fellow is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya. Almost. Maybe just Flora's portrait is holding a knife tipped with blood because it stabbed Freya.
What?
Weird, huh?
You think Freya was stabbed by a painting? Not by the woman from the painting, but by the painting itself.
Mm-hmm. Freya was standing right up by the canvas when she was killed. There's blood on the knife. It's the murder weapon.
Right, but it's not actually a knife. It can't stab.
See any other knives around here? Case closed.
The case is not closed. And even if you were right, where does that leave us? A painting can't be a murder suspect.
Flora 的塔。
The outline of Freya Fellow. Looks like she fell onto her back. There's a single patch of blood, right in the middle. No real signs of a struggle.
That's weird.
What?
Her feet were right up by the canvas,
So?
so she was probably standing really close to the canvas when she fell.
Let's check the case file again. Supposedly, Freya was working. Looks like she was still holding her paintbrush and palette when she...
Didn't even get a chance to clean her brush.
调色盘上有各种颜料，最大的是中间一滩黑色颜料，画笔上还留有干了的红色颜料。
Is that a gramophone?
I think so, except it's got a tape deck instead of a turntable.
It's also got a big crack down the middle.
可以播放磁带，而不是黑胶唱片。留声机朝向房间中央，有一道明显的裂痕贯穿留声机，从喇叭一直贯穿到磁带仓。
What about the cassette tape?
Yeah, it sure is. Pink.
磁带从中间裂开了，标签上有手写的痕迹，送给 Freya。
Do you think it still works?
The gramophone? Yeah, we could give it a go.
Is that an egg? An egg with bird feet.
It's also covered in gemstones. What a completely ordinary object.
I think it's a container for something.
Those gems look like they come off.
哦哦，嗯，
That's the one.
Hey, not bad. Did it unlock? What's in there?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Well, I'm not leaving without a clue. An empty egg is a clue, right?
空空的蛋解锁后，蛋可以打开，现在是空的。蛋的衬底是一种柔软，像天鹅绒一样的面料，蛋是由一个黄铜支架支撑着，支架坐在3只奇怪的爪子上。
Flora... Fellow?
Hey, sorry to barge in. I'm sure you're still in some distress.
We need to ask you a few questions, I'm afraid.
Did you witness the murder, Flora?
Nothing. What do we do?
Not sure. She's entitled to her silence, I suppose.
For now. Is there anything you'd like to tell us? I don't really know anything about you at all.
I think that's the way she likes it. We'll just have to ask other people about her.
Yeah, okay.
Freya was painting your portrait yesterday. Is that right?
Was this something you had planned with her ahead of time?
Was there something special about yesterday?
Did you talk to Freya at all while she was painting you?
She's not going to answer us, is she?
Nope. But at least we can say we tried. Flora, you were definitely in the room at the time of the murder. Surely you must have seen something? Can you tell me anything about what happened to Freya? She's acting pretty suspicious if you ask me.
I don't know. Maybe she really doesn't know anything.
How is that possible? Anything we should know? Any hobbies? Besides staring out the window? Were you close with Freya? How are you two related? Did you kill Freya?
Grimoire!
What? I don't even think she's listening.
Oh, she's listening.
Did you ask Freya to paint this? Or was it her idea?
What is that you're holding in the painting, Flora? Some people have been saying it's a knife.
感觉可能是羽毛哎。
Is this your gramophone?
Do you know why it's cracked? Flora, this is your egg? Why do you keep it locked?
Is there supposed to be something in there? Or is it always empty?
喂完了。
A little pot plant.
It's the only plant in the entire room.
Half the room is a big open window.
I don't know if you can call it an open window. It's more like the sudden absence of wall.
The whole room is a strange...
Yeah, there might be a reason for that.
We're at the top of the tower, right?
I think so. Why?
Doesn't matter. It's nothing.
It's so dark back there.
Somehow, the sunlight doesn't seem to be making it very far into the room. That's the only door in and out of the room.
It's also on the floor.
Sure is. Guessing it's not supposed to be down there.
A bunch of old books covered in dust now, but they look well. Covered in dust now, but they look well read.
Freya's painting supplies.
嗯，所有的玻璃罐一边都裂了。
Freya's painting supplies.
给你唠唠。我知道你不会说啥了，但是给你唠唠。OK。走喽。先把家外面的看了。
There's a metal plaque on the bench.
Is there a message engraved on it?
I think there was at one point, but someone scratched it off. It's a sea serpent turned into stone by a wizard.
Ah, if you say so. What happened to its head?
Beheaded by the same wizard.
It's a big stone.
Biggest one I've ever seen. First one, too.
A giant glowing gemstone full of plants.
AKA a greenhouse.
It's Tangle Tower, or at least it's the mansion at the base of Tangle Tower.
A pointless little stone tower.
I don't know. Might be a good hiding place.
Want to play hide and seek?
I could be persuaded.
Well, nice cape.
You're not fellows or pointers. I'm sure I shall immediately regret asking. But who are you, and what is your business here?
I'm Sally, and this is my sidekick, Grimoire.
A private detective, Grimoire.
Really? You're a detective. This is a joke, it's not a good one.
Who are you, anyway?
Private Detective Hawkshaw.
Oh, nice. Hawkshaw's a cooler name than Grimoire. Maybe I'll become her sidekick.
You're not on the Freya Fellow case, too, are you?
That is classified information between myself and my client. Clearly, this is something which eludes you. But a real detective refrains from handing out informations to persons unknown.
Oh, right.
Now, if you would, I have work to do. It's not in my interest to discuss personal details.
Even if you're one of the suspects in a murder?
Very well. Let us make a small exception. Ask.
Oh, what are you doing here?
I'm on a case at the behest of my client.
How long have you been at Tangle Tower?
133 hours. 5.5 days.
Who are you working for?
I am not at liberty to answer that. Now, I shall permit you one more question.
What crime are you...
How'd you get that scar? It's cool.
You really think so?
确实。
As it happens, I completed an examination of Flora's room on the morning before the murder. I've been investigating every single room at Tangle Tower. Hers is one of the last on my list.
Did you find anything unusual?
Nothing but a thin layer of dust and an atmosphere of somber melancholy.
Was Flora in there at the time?
She spent the duration of my search staring up at the sky, out the open window. Didn't say a word, although I'm told this is the expected behavior.
What did you do after that?
I spent the early evening searching the library. It took longer than it should have. Fiona leaves that room in a permanent state of disarray.
Fiona was in the library too?
I expected her to make an appearance, but she did not.
And you stayed in the library the rest of the day?
Not quite. Towards the early evening, my examination of the library was unexpectedly disrupted. Sounds of running, wailing, shouting from several floors above. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared. He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. Our eyes met. He was breathless. Something had caused him great alarm. He told me to stay out of the way. I consented. I decided to return to my office in the stone square. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me,
Penelope.
clutching the banister of the Pointer staircase with an apprehensive manner. She wished to know where Professor Pointer had gone. I told her what had transpired. Then, she too crossed the hall and disappeared up the fellow staircase. More so than at any moment prior, I felt like quite an intruder in the house. I took my leave, out towards the stone square. The grounds were silent. There were no signs of human life. Even the greenhouse was without its typical inhabitant. I noted that he, too, must be entangled in whatever was transpiring in Fellow Tower. An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance. He spoke to me of what had occurred. His report was as clumsy and cumbersome as the man giving it.
Did he seem upset?
He was rattled. That much was clear.
Yeah.
But sorrowful, mournful.
早安
I cannot
OPQ
say.
要那大吉。
314 cases solved.
314，
And 14.
感觉狠狠被
Quite
打
the
了一
stoic
下。
statue, isn't she? I can only dream of being as cold and indifferent as Flora Fellow.
You think she's hiding something?
Perhaps. She has some strange habits. I heard she barely sleeps, an hour here or there, sporadically. Spends the rest of her time staring up at the sky. Freya Fellow is of great interest to me. I perceived her to be the most intelligent individual here at Tangle Tower. Within a day, she had identified for whom I was working and for what I was searching. I didn't know how she did it. I was impressed. I regret that I did not question her more thoroughly when I had the opportunity.
You couldn't have known she
刚
was
放
about to
学
be killed. then.
嗯，
I have only myself to blame for failing to perceive the signs.
What signs?
I do not wish to do your job for you, Detective. Paints?
Yep.
Paints. Mm-hmm. You got it open. I'm impressed. I managed it myself yesterday. I thought Flora might be hiding something in there.
It was empty yesterday, too.
It was. Perhaps it's always been empty.
明天可以不用上学，好耶！
But it was not cracked when I saw it last. A somewhat cumbersome device, and an altogether inefficient way to listen to music.
What kind of music do you like, Hawkshaw?
I like anything.
What a cop-out.
The paint is still wet.
Yeah, well, we know Freya was in the middle of painting when she was killed.
Do you know that? How? Because you were told? Makes quite an impression, doesn't it? Although I can't imagine why she painted Flora wielding a knife.
You didn't see a knife anywhere in Flora's room, did you?
I did not. I conclude whatever stabbed Freya must have been brought into the room from outside. Unless, of course, it was the painting itself.
Surely you don't believe in that kind of thing.
A detective's job is to examine every avenue of thinking. Conveniently left anonymous. It's useless until you can prove to whom it concerns. Can you do that?
No.
No. Have you deciphered the meaning of those 4 symbols on the harp?
We're working on it.
That's a no then. Where'd you dig that up?
1小时后要上学，早安米蒂
Someone trying to conceal
啊
evidence,
！1
perhaps?
小时后要上学，你还过来低
You
台，
truly consider
不
this
多
a
睡一会儿
piece?
吗？
What's wrong with it?
No organization, no system.
That's my style. I like seeing everything laid out at once. Yeah, it helps me think.
How quaint.
How
Tangle
quaint！
Tower. No idea why they insist on calling it that. It's not even a tower. It's little more than a pair of turrets stuck on either side of a mansion.
Have you searched the whole place?
睡饱了吃早餐。
Why?
哦，那很好啊。
He wants to
什
know
么
if you
一
found
个
any
放学一个
secret
上
clues.
学，因为大家有
I'm
时
afraid the
差。
residents of Tangle Tower are far too ordinary for anything like that. I was disappointed too.
没事儿。
A wooden trunk. That
I want one. Is that a clock?
If it is, it's a clock with 4 faces.
睡饱
I'm
了，
guessing
So what does it do?
我怎么知道正确的位置是哪里啊？哦，是12。这个看出来能看出来是12，这个是9，这个是什么？啊，这是3、9、12、9。这是9吗？这是6吧？Yeah， 这不对吗？3、9、12、6。哦，对了，对了，但是要自己点确定。操，10点多睡到6点多，哇，我10点多就睡不着哎。
Hey, not bad.
那你是真的睡够
What's in the
了，
box?
a little
很好哎。
tool thing? Looks like a telescope.
9点睡到7点半，
I'm not actually sure.
那你是真的很能睡。配有弧形玻璃镜片的小黄铜工具底下有个螺丝。
This belongs to you, Hawkshaw?
Correct.
And, what is it?
It's my handheld microscope for up close investigation work.
What do you magnify with it?
Trace particles, dust, oils, clothing fibers.
Have you used it here at Tangle Tower?
I have. I used it to examine the greenhouse only 2 days ago.
What were you looking for?
That is between myself and my client.
整天睡一睡都会翻到醒不来，醒来我不知道我在哪儿。哈哈哈哈。 那你
AKA
睡的是很熟了，真好，好羡慕你的睡眠质量哦。嗨，
Sally, don't move. We're being watched.
Yeah, I see him.
watched。
He's a little too big to hide in the bushes. Is anyone going to say anything? Or shall we just stand around staring at each other?
Right, sorry. Sorry.
That's better. I'm Sally. And the guy hiding behind me is Detective Grimoire. Who are you?
Fitzfellow, the gardener.
Mm-hmm. And why are you so tall?
I don't know.
You work here.
之前是吃药，现在是打球5小时，真的有帮助，都不用吃药。
My
真的
area
呢
of，interest.
运动真的很有
What's the
帮
deal
助，
with the
就直接
plants?
累到
They're all
是2眼一
Kinda
闭。
weird.
Right. Did you see the lake?
That giant green and purple lake surrounding the entire house? Yeah, I clocked it.
The color is just a byproduct.
Of what? Poison?
It's not poisonous. Not to you.
What's this got to do with the plants?
The water controls all life, just like anywhere else on the planet. Clouds form, rain falls. The water grows the plants, animals eat the plants. Anything you've perceived as an irregularity is simply a result of this hydrological cycle.
Could you say that again, but like condense it as if you were talking to a slightly stupid person?
Our lake water causes the unpredictable alteration of DNA. Sometimes.
Alteration? Like mutation?
That'd be the official term. For us, it's normal. Just nature.
And you're the local expert on all this stuff?
No, I'm just the gardener. I was in my greenhouse, watering and weeding.
Sounds exciting.
Was anyone else around?
Not at first. Penelope came in a little later. She likes looking at the flowers, I think.
Did you speak to each other?
A little, not too much. We both left the greenhouse in the early afternoon. I went up to my room. Then I came back outside to weed the main gardens. Didn't see anyone else. After that, I went up to the garden outside
早
my
安，
room.
红豆，
And
报告，怎
Let
么
me
了？
guess. Watering and
第一名
weeding.
来了
Right.，
好，
did anything
恭喜
happen to
第一
you
名！
yesterday, Fitz?
哇，呱唧呱唧呱唧。
I was up in the rooftop garden. It was quiet. And then, it wasn't. I can't describe it. Could have been a scream, but it didn't sound human. We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
We
Poppy was with me. Did I not mention that? Flora's room was locked. That's normal. She usually locks it from the inside. I knocked on the door and shouted. Nobody responded. We became concerned.
You kicked the door down?
I did. Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back. Flora was there too, but I barely noticed her at first. Poppy left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too. Penelope arrived shortly after that, with Felix in tow. I thought that was odd. You don't normally see the two of them together. Felix took charge. There was nothing else I could do to help. I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything. I found her pacing back and forth around the stone square. When I approached her, she snapped at me. I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
Fitz's room is unlocked. It's up in the fellow tower.
This could be interesting.
A little chart of, actually, I have no idea what it's about.
Huh?
What do you make of it?
Not a whole lot.
It's bigger in here than I thought it would be. It's bigger in here than
Hanging baskets.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2 inches taller than me.
2 inches makes all the difference.
Tools used by a gardener for gardening.
This one's in a little
Okay,
pot.
that is definitely.
Looks like a gemstone, don't you think?
一盆果树，水果表皮很坚硬，像宝石一样。盆里的土壤是很不常见的蓝色。
Hanging baskets.
To you, maybe.
You're only 2.
2 inches makes all.
That's a handsome beetle. Looks like he might have.
OK， 我觉得这也没什么要看的了。啊，我们从这边一点点找吧。
A little hand-painted
How
stuff.
can you tell it's hand painted?
Well, the paints are right there on the desk. Also, I mean, no offense, but you can just tell.
嗯，
Nice.
How do you know this?
Why else would it be locked? Plus, there's a treasure map hanging directly above it. What's the deal with that painting on the front?
Not sure. We should check that treasure map too.
-这儿吧，艾斯。
Nothing.
Did you check the treasure map for clues? And what about that painting on the chest itself?
嗯，啊？对啊，左边是龙，右边是山，远处是草。I4这个没错吧？哎， 龙山草，那还有一个是 H6上北下南左西。
There we go.
Perfect. What was in the box?
More wooden models. These are a little different to the one on the desk.
绿头发小孩，灰头发女人。OK，Flora，、这个死掉的。红白色小鸟，宽肩膀男人，红色颜料。
Buffer?
Yes, it's also a lamp. For some reason. A hammock.
I would politely describe it as.
The entire room.
Oh, it's not just. I think it's the actual hull of a ship. It's a
I've
barometer.
never seen a barometer that wasn't. It's a drinking horn.
Is it full of ale?
Right now, it's just full. We already solved it.
哦，不好意思。
It's a magic lamp. Summon
If
the
we
key.
get really stuck. That's, do you think this little crab lives?
I hope so.
哎，
Sir? Can you hear me? I'm Private Detective Grimoire. I have some questions for you.
Grimoire. Good mysterious name. I'd rather like it. Felix Fellow at your beck and call.
And, this is my colleague, Sally.
Yeah, that's a perfectly good name as well.
Thanks.
If you would, Mr. Fellow, we really need to ask you about the murder.
I must say I'm rather jealous of you two.
Oh, yeah? Why's that?
Out here solving mysteries, exploring new places, uncovering secret rooms, hidden treasures. That's what life is all about.
Secret rooms?
Generally speaking, you know, that sort of thing.
So, Felix, what exactly do you, do?
Is it not obvious? I'm an explorer. Explorer.
哎，我其实很好奇，他们这种住在一个塔里面的，他们是怎么活下去的？就是，
Curse statues.
哦，好吧，园丁可以种
It's a little more
种菜，
than that. But I've
自给自足是吧
my？ share of danger, if that's what you're asking.
And, if I may ask, when did you retire?
You listen here. I may be between ventures right now, but it's simply not in my nature to stay in one place for too long. I go wherever the winds of destiny take me.
Don't you live here with your wife and daughter?
Yes, well, the Fellow family has certain loyalties, and with Flora the way she is,
Nothing wrong with raising a family, Mr. Fellow.
don't misunderstand me. Fiona and Flora are my entire world. They are the greatest treasure of all.
Uh-huh.
嗯哼，
Why on earth would you want to know about that?
The murder of Freya Fellow. The reason we're here?
Ah, right. Nasty business. Very unfortunate. I regret that I can't be of any help. But I wish you all the best in your investigation.
Hear that, Grimoire? We're done here. Let's go.
It's a simple question, Felix. I'm sure you're up to it.
Well, there's not much to tell. Mostly, I was in my room by myself, working on Flora's, on a project.
Your room is quite close to Flora's tower. You didn't hear anything unusual?
What qualifies as unusual?
What have you got?
It was dusk. A feeling lingered in the air. Malevolent, perhaps. Uncertain, as life is.
Abridged version, please.
Right. Fine. I heard someone heading down the stairs, just outside my room. The footsteps were calm, orderly, so I thought nothing of it. Shortly afterward, I heard a second set of footsteps, going the same way. This time I could tell just from the sound that something was wrong. So I looked out into the hallway. I got a glimpse of Poppy disappearing down the staircase to the floor below. Didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. I thought perhaps she'd had a disagreement with Fitz, as I know those two are close. So I looked into his room, just in case, but it was empty, as was the garden beyond his window. Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer, so I escorted her. We went into Flora's room. Poor Freya was laying on the floor. Fiona, Poppy, Fitz, and Pointer were there already. Flora, too, of course. Soon enough, everyone else made their excuses and left.
Including you?
Not I. I stayed. Flora needed me. I've been carving for a couple of years now. I was hopeless when I started, but it didn't take me long to master it, as you can see.
Do you paint them yourself too?
I do indeed. Freya kindly taught me the basics. Nowadays, I can make just about anything I can imagine. Of course, this particular model is a self-portrait based on hard fact.
Hard fact, huh? So, you own a sword, Felix?
Of course. I own a great many. But my weapons are stored well away from Tangle Tower. Safety first and all that. You found it. What do you think, huh? I had to rush the final touches a little bit. It turned out all right, though.
What's it supposed to be?
It's Flora, of course, surrounded by all her favorite people.
"这个你知道吗？
That looks like it might belong to Poppy.
That painting.
Why would you want it looming over your bed?
Maybe Freya enjoyed the
The atmosphere of chaos.
Hang on. There's a smaller version down by the floor.
It's a photograph. Do you think this was
I don't know.
no windows either? A pillow.
It's a cushion.
Yeah, but that doesn't alliterate. Not the kind of lamp.
It's cool. Looks like old mining equipment or something.
It's a little glass.
I think it's a vivarium.
Come again?
See the leaves and twigs in there?
Bavarian.
Might have been for keeping insects.
Bavarian.
It's a little wooden
To
box.
the casual observer, maybe. They're not real paintbrushes. Looks like they're part of some kind of lock mechanism.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nothing.
Did you find a hint on those scraps? It looks like a ripped up jigsaw puzzle.
That's done it.
Neat. What was in the box?
Just a photograph. Well, most of a photograph. Painting supplies. Painting supplies. Freya's bear.
Looks pretty
He's
depressed.
had a rough couple of days.
It's a fish?
I think it looks more like a whale.
Fine, it's a whale.
Could also be a shark.
Freya's plants. They must not need sunlight? Drawings.
What's that one
It
on?
looks like two people. One of them's holding a red rose. Drawing.
What's that one
It
on?
looks one of them's holding a red rose. Freya's plant. They must not need. Even though someone's been tracking in mud from outside.
Oh, Fifi.
Curious. I would expect bacteria.
Excuse me.
Taking all the environmental factors into account, there must be something I am still missing.
May I talk to you, miss?
She knows we're here. She just doesn't care.
I am a detective, and I need to talk.
Correction. You do not need to talk to me,
Oh no? How come?
because I am not a suspect. I am completely innocent of any and all crimes.
Thanks for letting me know.
Speaking of which, you have now been at Tangle Tower for over 23 minutes. Surely you have already reached a sturdy hypothesis.
A hypothesis about the murder?
Yeah, come on, Grimoire, hurry up.
My apologies. Unfortunately, protocol dictates I must at least meet all the suspects. And that includes you. So, could you tell me your name?
Fifi Fellow, microbiologist, inventor, innovator. You will need to be more specific. Oneself cannot be summarized in a single response without doing one a great disservice.
So true.
Well, first of all, you're a fellow. So does that make you the daughter of...
Correct. My father and mother are named Flora and Felix, but you need not question either of them. It will only waste valuable time. Neither of them are capable of murder.
Thanks for the tip.
Fifi, you said you were a micro... something or other?
Microbiologist, but it is an insignificant label. My studies cannot be categorized in any one recognized field.
What made you want to become a scientist in the first place?
I harbor an intrinsic fascination with the microscopic. I constructed my first one at age 10.
Constructed a microscope?
Correct.
And what's that thing on your head? Did you make that too?
My eyesight began to deteriorate when I turned 12. Not satisfied with the eyeglasses prescribed to me, I designed this custom lens instead. It automatically adjusts based on the surrounding light conditions.
Does it glow red when you get angry?
No, but that would be most amusing. What can you tell me about the murder?
What can you tell me about... Wait, that's what I'm supposed to ask you.
Yes, however, you were too slow.
You fancy yourself a detective too, Fifi?
I just need to know what happened.
Me too. So talk.
Fine. I knew ahead of time that Freya was going to be busy with her painting all day, so I had planned to spend the afternoon with Poppy. I was in the library all morning preparing the equipment for an experiment, only to find out that Poppy had made other plans and she was in fact planning to ignore me completely.
Oh.
So what did you do instead?
I locked myself in my room and cried.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Why?
I don't know, it just sounds kind of sad.
It is not unusual.
Oh. Good.
I was in my room. The lights were off and the door was locked. Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it. until the someone began shouting at me. I opened the door. Poppy came into my room. Her makeup was leaking. She told me Freya was dead. I did not believe it. I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face. She insisted that we go up to Flora's tower. We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs. When I saw Freya lying on the floor, I was completely and utterly devastated. Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting. Poppy and I took the sample back downstairs to the library. We performed a test and found out that it was, in fact, blood.
You performed that scientific test immediately, even though you were feeling so upset?
Of course. Why would one affect the other?
Oh.
Fifi's bedroom should be on.
Can't wait.
Is that a snow globe?
Of sorts. Hey, look at that. It's a model of Tangle Tower. What are you thinking?
That would make an amazing suit. What's in those bottles?
I'm not sure. Soil samples?
What's in those bottles?
I'm not sure. Soil samples?
A chalk?
Is this a library or a classroom?
Any idea what this
Not
means?
a clue.
Any idea what this
Not
means?
a clue.
I'm not sure I learned anything from that. Books about
Well,
insects.
there's not a single book on that
Huh. Books about
These books are. I think they'd crumble into
Good
dust.
excuse.
Thanks. Books about
Skip.
Jack. Books about space.
They're relatively untouched. Books about. Books about.
The shelves are.
Oh, so you're
I
a.
knew this already.
Sure. Why not build a?
The search for new knowledge. The archiving is downright poetic. It's an illustrated.
It's been left open. Looks like somebody was halfway through reading it.
Or it was left open for us to find.
Ever so slightly unnerving.
静默鸟是一种寿命很长的极其聪明鸟，甚至在鸟类迷兽里都出类拔萃。其他鸟类都经常攻击它，因此静默鸟一生中大部分时候都是独自生活。它的饮食习惯很特别，通常只吃美洲围独子箭图。
A book? Fundamental
I guess somebody dropped it.
Do you know who was reading this book?
It belongs to my mother.
And she left it in the library?
No, my mother has not been in the library for some time. There is a drawing of me, a drawing of Detective Hawkshaw, and a drawing of Poppy and Fitz.
Is she laughing?
Whoa.
That belongs to my mother. I think she must be fond of eggs. There are a number of egg-shaped carvings to be found in the garden and in the Grand Hall.
Yeah, what's the deal with all the eggs?
Some people just like eggs. This photograph is my favorite photograph.
So, why'd you rip it in half?
That was not me. Besides, it was not a half that was ripped off. It was only a third. I believe Freya was attempting to communicate something through this painting.
Any idea what it was?
I am not the person to ask. All I see is a blood-red mountain with angry storm clouds brewing above it. As such, I cannot ascertain any meaning from it whatsoever.
There's something about the image of Flora. Something.
Let's ask her about it.
Freya is normally highly, but in this painting, she has accidentally made Flora look quite young.
I think she was just being kind.
Why is that kind? Anyway, I'm far more interested. I performed a test on the red paint myself. I discovered
What made you want to test it?
it was Poppy. She told me I told her not to be ridiculous, but then I noticed that the color was slightly too.
You noticed that just from looking at it once?
Of course. Curious.
Fifi, did you test the red paint in this pot?
Yes, I did. I discovered it too was blood, not paint.
A whole pot full of blood?
Not a whole pot. It is only partially full.
Yeah, but still. Doesn't that freak you out?
No. In fact, it may be considered rather reassuring. It is a model of Freya, made by my father.
A model of Flora, you mean?
And a man with a beard. And a little red and white creature.
Why would my father make a model of Freya? A wooden carving of my father, made by my father. Although, now that I look at it, I do not understand how he was able to paint the red parts without any red paint. The fruit here has a unique chemical makeup. It makes them completely pointless, unless you wish to cut it down and sell it as a precious stone.
It's not edible.
Depends
On what?
on the structural integrity of your
取决你牙齿够不够结实。
What is your opinion of Tangle Tower?
Oh, it's impressive. Elaborate gardens, unique architecture.
Must be worth a fortune.
Why do you ask, Fifi?
I am the heir of the Fellow family and the Remington family. This makes me the sole beneficiary of Tangle Tower.
That's quite an inheritance.
They can't make you do anything, Fifi. If you don't want the house, just tell them. Or just sell it. Who cares?
You sound like her. I require facts. What do you know?
Well, we know Freya was stabbed with a knife, and then she fell.
Correction. She was stabbed with something. There was no knife found at the crime scene,
Apart from the one in the painting.
which as a mere abstract representation does not count. Nobody has ever been stabbed by the concept of a knife. This belongs to Poppy. In fact, she owns a number of cassette tapes.
What happened to it, though?
It has been left underwater for an extended period of time.
Right, but why?
I do not know why. The statue itself does not interest me, but I do wish to know about those symbols on the harp. Have you deciphered their meaning yet?
We're working on it.
We are.
This belongs to Professor Pointer, does it not?
No, I don't think so.
Who else would own such a pointless little telescope?
It's a telescope.
Oh, yes. It has a telescopic lens. It can only be used for looking at things that are far away. The gramophone belongs to Poppy, but I believe she gave it to my mother, and my mother often loaned it to Freya. Or maybe it is the other way around.
When did it get cracked?
I cannot pinpoint it exactly. All I know is that it must have happened sometime in the last 2 days. The red paint on the brush is not paint. Same for the palette.
So Freya added the blood to the paint.
Or blood got on the...
I do not know.
Sure, why not build a science lab?
Research the archives downright poetic. It's
What
must.
exactly does that mean?
Must. You ask such stupid.
Nice. A new suspect. Don't think you can get.
innocent, I promise.
Save it for the judge. Fifi's got something pinned up here.
What is all this?
你俩真是，怎么还有你们两个？
Arrows connecting.
They're not labeled.
Yeah, they're completely meaningless. And that's you, Sally.
What? I do not look like that, do I?
Is that supposed to be me?
That's just the face you make when you're thinking. Does make you wonder, though. When did Fifi? Who is that?
No idea. That's gotta be Flora.
Who is
No idea. Who's
Not
that?
sure. Looks like Fitz. It's Detective Hawkshaw.
I think that's supposed to be Felix. Did you notice who isn't on here?
Freya?
Mm-hmm. And Fifi herself. It looks like a microscope.
Can I touch it? I'm not sure this is a microscope.
I got it.
I'm impressed. Sounds like it unlocked.
Yeah, it's built on top of a little metal box. There's a book in here.
秘密日记。
We're supposed to.
And a simple trick, but it really.
We're supposed to.
And a simple trick, but it really. What's that big?
Looks like something Fifi's.
Is a clue?
I hope not. It's just a bunch of notes about her microbiology. I don't know what that.
I'd read you, but there's.
That's even worse.
What's that?
Looks like something. I hope it's just a bunch of notes about her mic.
Stuff.
You gonna rummage through?
No,
I give it 5 minutes before you're in there.
that's a whole lot.
Boxes of stuff.
That's a whole lot.
Boxes of stuff.
Scientific, probably. I'll openly admit I have no. It's a bit-
Barely. Homemade post. This one's about the.
Ah, I've not heard of that band.
狗骨定理，我没听过这个 band。
An empty glass.
Looking at it is-
Why?
I don't know. Hello.
Not hidden very.
Doesn't need to be. It's locked. It's a combination lock. Sort of.
How do I know the pattern? Nothing.
Maybe if you move the paper around, you'll find it.
Still locked.
I think the lines drawn on the paper correspond with the shapes in the combination.
瓜咱不吃。Okay, right now I know the shapes. 我知道形状是什么样了，但是我怎么知道它的顺序呢？等一下，哎，这个没错了。这个应该是第二个吧。
There we go.
Perfect. Anything in there?
Yeah, it's wrapped in a cloth. Hold on. Huh. That's kind of ominous.
PP and Fifi.
It's locked.
I thought we were halfway.
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
将盖子划开，然后将砖片移到正确的位置上。
Nothing. Still locked.
The tiles have all got that same.
Those moon symbols.
Maybe they're connected.
Nope.
Maybe the information we
So
need
where is it?
somewhere else.
Ah.
You know.
What? The whole
Yeah,
thing?
the duality of the
If
sun.
you say so. Ah.
You know.
What? The whole
Yeah,
thing?
the duality of
If
the
you say so.
Let's come back once we. That poor plant.
Looks pretty
healthy, but I think it would rather be outside.
It's a little inside. It says "Du fits." There's
Something outside the window. It's probably just a rock.
You sure?
You sure？ 胆子很小的这个。
So, this painting, specifically that knife in Flora's hand.
Yeah, it's creepy. But we didn't find a knife anywhere in the room. So what's going on?
It's not a knife. We need a clue to compare with the painting. Something to explain what that knife shape actually is.
We do have it?
Let's take a closer look at this. The painted knife is actually just a feather from an ink-dip bird.
It's definitely the right shape, but the book's not in color. The thing Flora's holding in the painting is red and white, specifically. Is there anything to suggest that the ink dip bird is red and white too? This little thing? I don't understand why Felix would make a model of this bird as part of a gift for Flora. And come to think of it, why would Flora be holding a feather in the painting anyway?
The ink-dipped bird was
晚上好
always
，Win
pet,
Win，晚上
so
好。
she kept a single feather to remember it by.
She kept the bird as a pet. And it died?
Maybe it flew away.
Flora spends all her time staring out the window.
Either way, she kept the
早安
feather.
，Win
I
Win。
think it was pretty important to her.
All right. So she was holding the feather while Freya was painting her. But where is it now? You'd think she'd keep it somewhere close by.
Yeah, I think she does. Normally. This is where Flora
Normally.
usually keeps her feather.
But we opened it. It's empty.
Mm-hmm. Completely empty. Flora? She's pointing at something in the corner of
It's
the
just a pile of books. They're not. Wait. There's something tucked inside this one.
room。这些是给你的，爱你的，free 啊。OK， 问完了。哦，Poppy。
Are they paper lanterns?
Whatever they are, I'll like them. It's like a little parade of floating spirits.
Oh, whatever it is, it's playing a little trumpet.
Well, it is the music room. He's got to practice.
What's with all the broken glass?
玻璃碎片。
Who plays the violin?
It's pretty dusty, so I'm guessing nobody.
1.
Yep.
25 dry old books.
Mm-hmm.
4 lit.
Yeah.
Am I the only one seeing the problem?
然后呢？咚。
Are you a ghost?
Sally! That's rude! Unless she is a ghost.
It may come as a disappointment.
哦，早安，阿伦，早上好。
Ah,
That makes you a suspect, I'm afraid.
I know.
what's your name?
My name is Poppy. I'm a pointer. And a pianist.
We'll need to ask you a few questions about Freya.
I know.
Hey, you're pretty good.
All in the wrist. And 13 years of dedicated practice. I'm just me. There's nothing to know.
How are you related to the other pointers?
My father is Percival Pointer. The professor spends most of his time hidden away in his tower. Barely speaks to anyone these days. Especially not the fellows.
Do you get on with the fellows?
2 of them. Fifi and Freya are my closest friends. We all turned 19 last year.
Do people ever leave Tangle Tower? I don't mean to be rude. It's just, if you're 19...
You don't have to answer that, Poppy.
It's a fair question. I'd like to move away. Definitely. Fifi, Freya, and I would often talk about it, argue about it. Freya wanted to leave, but Fifi... Things are more complicated for her.
What about now?
After what happened, I really don't want to stay here much longer. 3.5 hours of piano practice. Soon as I wake up. Same as always.
3.5. Does that not hurt your hands?
Sure.
And you do this in the music room?
No, I prefer to practice in my room. When I make mistakes, I like to make them in private.
What did you do after that?
I was supposed to meet Fifi in the library, but I totally forgot. When I finally got down there, she'd already gone. I checked her bedroom, but it was locked.
Was Fifi not in there?
No idea. She keeps her door locked either way. So I went back upstairs and out into the moonlight garden.
The what?
The little garden on the roof outside my room.
Was it just you up there?
No. Fitz came outside after a while. His room's on the other side. He's been teaching me about flowers.
So, did you talk to him?
Not really.
You ignored each other.
I didn't say that. Fitz and I were up in the moonlight garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. Lasted about 3 seconds. I've been trying to decide how to describe it, but I'm struggling. It was like something drilling into a piece of metal, but different. Worse. I was pretty sure it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there to check. Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. I knew Freya and Flora were both supposed to be in there, so I made Fitz kick down the door. I went inside. Freya was lying on the floor.
Flora was in the room too?
Yeah. I think she realized what had happened at the same moment I did. I didn't know what to do, so I ran downstairs to get Fifi. Her door was still locked, but I knocked and shouted at her. Eventually, she let me in. The lights were off, but I could see she'd already been crying. I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry. First time I've ever seen her angry. I dragged her out into the hall. My father was there too, for some reason. The three of us went back up to Flora's tower. Then Felix arrived. He had Penny with him. Fifi had this idea. She wanted to do some kind of scientific test. She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes. After she was done, she went back upstairs and I went back to my room.
That's it?
That's it. Is that a gardening trowel?
Yeah. I think it belongs to Fitz.
Really? Huh. Never seen him use it.
Does this belong to you, Poppy?
Now that's not really my style, is it?
But who else would own a tape like this?
Literally anybody. It was my mother's originally.
So, why is it up in Flora's room?
She just gets the most use out of it. Freya would borrow it too sometimes. Don't you think that's weird? That the letter isn't addressed to anyone or signed by anyone?
Someone's being deliberately secretive.
Or they're trying to manipulate you.
我没什么要问你的。
All right.
I wonder what's in there.
其实每个人都应该每个都问一遍，但是我觉得字太多了，我懒。嗨，
Oh, just beautiful. What is it?
Huh?
What is it?
Sort of a delicate jade, but with a
Jade.
Lucifer green, is that right?
Sorry?
Your hair, dear! Which shade do you use? It's lovely! And that shade, you're really pushing the envelope.
Oh, thanks. I do what I can to offset Grimoire's beige on brown ensemble.
Detectives don't need to be brightly colored. We prefer to blend into the background.
Oh, you're the detective? Delightful.
Delightful.
What a pleasure.
Is that
Pleasure.
Penelope?
Officially, yes, but I never can be bothered with all 4 syllables of it. Penelope sounds a little ostentatious coming out of the mouth, don't you think?
Sure. Yeah.
20-something, Aquarius, love to travel, and nearly all of my friends are birds.
Arbors.
Where to?
Anywhere at all. as long as it has species worth studying. Ornithology, they call it. I'd call it the only thing I've ever been good at.
And have you studied the birds here at Tangle Tower?
But of course! Where else do you think I developed my love of the field? No matter where I go, I always find myself coming home to Tangle Tower.
Because of the birds.
Oh, no, because of him! Silly to admit, but I suppose I can't bear for us to be apart.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, don't you know? My fiancé, dear Fitz. He's not really the traveling type, you see.
Fitz Fellow.
The very one.
You're engaged to a member of the Fellow family? That's interesting.
I'm not especially interested in whatever tedious feuding goes on between our two families. Fitz and I find it much easier to stay out of it altogether. I awoke early and headed down into the greenhouse to see Fitz. He's always there, crack of dawn, every morning like clockwork.
How come?
It's where he's happiest. That, and he has a great deal of work to do every day, watering, pruning, mulching, whatever that is.
Do you help him with the work in the greenhouse?
Oh, no. I wouldn't dream of it. I'd probably break something.
So, you stayed with Fitz the whole day?
No. In the early afternoon, he went back inside. Rather suddenly, as it happens.
Did he say why?
He didn't. Probably just a touch of heat stroke, the poor dear. He's more delicate than you'd think.
What did you do after that?
Let's see. I returned to the aviary to feed my birds.
And how many birds are you responsible for?
Officially 4, but in truth it's more like 400.
Can they not feed themselves?
Of course, and they often do. But I think they just like the company. As do I. Sometime in the evening, I left the aviary and headed back towards my room. But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. He was muttering something. Seemed a bit upset, the poor dear. I followed him down, but the grand hall was empty by the time I got there. Empty aside from Detective Hawkshaw, who was loitering over by the library. I don't know what it was, but she looked a little lost. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the Fellow Tower. I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path. For some reason, he was coming out of Fitz's bedroom. He looked rather lost, too. I told him I was looking for Uncle. He suggested we look up in Flora's tower room. We could see from the hallway. The door was off its hinges. I knew then something was terribly wrong. A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Freya. Uncle Pointer was there. Fitz, too, standing over in the corner with Fifi and Poppy.
What about Flora?
Of course, silent as ever. Uncle suggested we should leave. Give the others some space, you know. So he and I both returned to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
We can get into
Now, like, right now?
my little writing desk. It's kind of...
There's nothing written in the book. Although, I don't like mirrors.
How do you
I do by weight. I can feel if one side is heavier than the other.
Bird
They're
diagram.
beautiful. Someone.
Bird
They're
diagram.
beautiful. Someone. They're bird cage. But the birds are.
Is that a metaphor?
Oh, it totally is.
And especially fancy.
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
What's those little windows?
I think they're there for draining.
Oh,
Check out that book.
looks evil.
Wow, judgmental.
Wow, judgmental.
You know, I would look at it.
Wait a minute. Earth in the middle. How old is this thing?
嗯，
That's the one.
Hey, not bad. Did you hear that?
There's a little hatch
A
underneath.
bunch of paper. Looks like somebody's research.
金甲壳虫，新名字是根据其外壳而来。外壳由一种约90%成分与黄金等同的矿物质组成，几年的寿命，它会发出巨大的嘶嘶声来击退捕食者，并以其完全不可消化性来自我防御。不知为何有虚假传言称看到这只迷兽的人会有厄运。OK，
Miss Tidy in the notebook is untouched.
So, even the most well-used notebooks start off blank.
Miss Tidy.
So, even the most well-used notebook
A picture frame.
with no picture.
It's too.
It's also daytime.
The bell jar.
What do people
Other
normally?
than bells, you mean? A
They're
spike?
in very good condition. There's something I just expected.
Oh, does it not compare to all the trinkets?
They're clearly gizmos. Pretty.
Let's at least introduce.
Always a good roll.
Shh, listen. Do you hear them? The stars. They're whispering. So quiet, and yet so loud.
What are they whispering about? Are they spreading rumors about us?
I shouldn't think they concern themselves with such insignificance. We are but specks of dust, you and I.
Mm-hmm. Could this speck of dust start by telling me his name?
You find yourself standing in the astronomy tower of one Professor Percival Pointer.
Seems like this tower belongs to the Pointers, and the other one belongs to the Fellows.
Well observed, my dear. Tangle Tower is something of a duality, as it happens. Meaningless boundaries, really. They exist only in our minds.
Helpful.
Me? Not much to say. Strictly speaking, I'm the current head of the Pointer family. And of course, father to my precious Poppy.
And a professional astronomer?
Oh no, that's just a little hobby. I mean, yes, I've studied the stars for over 35 years, published 17 books.
Just a little hobby.
Sounds like you're quite well known. You must bring in a good amount of money.
Oh dear me, no. My field of research has never yielded any kind of stable financial return. Nor would I expect it to. I am nothing but a humble interpreter for the cosmos, working to translate its message so that I may share it with the world.
Cool. Tell the Cosmos I say hi.
The day began as any other, with blissful, unremarkable routine. I took my usual morning walk around the gardens. Fresh air does wonders for the mind.
Did you see anyone else?
Penelope and Fitz were in the greenhouse together. I didn't bother them, of course. I sat for a while besides the pond in the garden. It's a favorite spot of mine. Eventually, I returned to my tower and buried myself in my studies for the afternoon.
Did you use your telescope yesterday?
Once the stars began to appear, naturally.
For how long?
I can't say. I've been known to lose hours at my telescope.
Did you see anything?
No actual discoveries, if that's what you mean.
So you were all alone up in the astronomy tower. Must have been a while before you found out what had happened to Freya.
Quite. Normally, I would be the last to find out about such a thing. But a curious tug of fate led me towards the fellow tower later that evening. I was at my telescope for the majority of the evening, but at one point I returned to my desk to look something up in a reference book. I couldn't find the book I wanted, so I figured Fiona must have borrowed it. I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall. I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library. She looked impatient and slightly frustrated.
Same as ever then?
Quite. I passed her by and went upstairs to Fiona's room. The door was locked, but I could hear shouting coming from inside. I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter. I had no desire to invade their privacy by eavesdropping. So I waited for them to finish and come out into the hall. Before I could ask about the book, Poppy grabbed my hand and took me upstairs along with Fiona. It was apparent that both of them had already been crying about something. We went up to Flora's tower. Freya was laying on her back, right in the middle of the room. Flora and Fitz were already there. They both looked stoic as ever. Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did, and then Fiona went downstairs with Poppy for some reason. I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
Why did you leave so quickly? Wasn't there anything you could have done to help?
Don't take this the wrong way, but the whole ordeal is fellow family business. I'm quite sure they don't need me getting in the way at a time like that.
So, we found some research. What's up with this golden beetle? Is this something you're studying?
I can't help you, I'm afraid. I think it must be something left behind by a previous inhabitant of Tangle Tower. I'm not the first scientist to ever walk these halls, you know.
Well, it wasn't in the halls. It was in your astronomy tower.
嗯，好像没有什么别的要问他了。大家有什么想问的吗？我感觉没什么可问的。
That's all the statements.
Let's go over them all.
It's a metronome.
It's ticking.
Is it a bomb?
It's supposed to be ticking. Not sure what those symbols are, though.
使用按钮转动4个节拍器至上方圆心位置。哦。
There we go.
Perfect. What happened?
Little hatch unlocked in the back.
Anything in there?
Mm-hmm. Part of a photograph.
撕毁的照片粉。
A big glass door leads out into a garden.
There's a little mechanism by the...
Oh.
Something happened.
That must be it. And the door's still locked.
I still feel like we made some sort of progress. There's an, you know... That?
I thought vampires...
This is a vampire who needs firm support for their lord. Anything in the war?
Dresses mostly. I never realized there are so many shades of black. It's an octopus.
No, it has 6. Don't say it.
Sextopus.
Sextopus.
Sheet music.
It's only a few notes.
Yeah, it's been framed though. Must be important for some reason.
More handwritten sheet music. Gloomy.
But roomy. Empty. That's
There's something we just feels out of place.
一盆花。
Anything?
Bed
in?
sheets.
That's not even remotely suspicious.
It's a bird
Are
house.
those real? Nope. They're what?
They're using up all the perches. What if...
黄、绿、棕色、棕色，
got it.
I'm impressed. Did the door open?
Now I'll get her.
Looks like rude. That's a big window. Traveling
Empty.
case.
All of them.
Traveling case.
Empty. All of them.
A little teasel.
One of the cups.
What's in the other one?
Birdseed.
Let's see. Romance novel. And
What?
this one appears to be both.
Nice.
Nice.
Ever get the feeling?
The mannequins don't have eyes.
That's not a comforting sentence. This. What the?
I don't know.
Okay. We should talk to Fifi.哎，等一下，是这屋吗？不是这屋，对不起，说错了。
It's locked.
I thought
We are.
What's that thing by the handle?
Hey.
Made a noise.
I guess that was right. Finally.
Whatever's on the other side.
聪明如我，记性差，但也没有那么差。
Dragonstone frog.
Yeah, he's got his.
Except those aren't snowflakes. They're feathers.
4个羽毛，没有任何羽毛是金木鸟的。
That's one big
Or
dragon.
one very small one. It's a rose. Not part
The
of it.
roses
aren't.
Exactly.
It's another little.
He's
step.
playing a lute.
He's also.
Well, they're not and they're not headphones. They're earmuffs.
巨大的耳罩，
It's so relaxing. I might just stay here.
Oh, shut up.
That'd be great. More eggs.
I don't get it.
Well, I are the sculptors. An egg has got to be the easiest. More eggs.
I don't get it.
Well, I are the sculptors. An egg has got to be the easiest. More eggs.
don't
Well,
get it.
an egg has got to be the easiest.
A little pond.
Looks see those metal bars around the edge.
Yeah.
Nothing. Looks like somebody broke them and then never bothered to fix it.
It's a rose bush. Apart from a couple of loose petals on one side, the whole thing looks.
The roses are bright.
Aren't roses.
Exactly.
The door into.
So only Poppy.
I guess so.
I guess so. OK。这个放大镜到底是什么呀？
It's a magnifier.
How come you don't?
Why? Should I start
You
smoking?
couldn't pull off.
OK, let's talk to Fifi.
That's all the statements collected. Let's run through them all to see if anything doesn't add up.
To see if anyone's been lying.
That too.
Fitz and I were up in the Moonlight Garden most of the afternoon. Then we heard this sound. It lasted about 3 seconds.
We thought it was coming from Flora's tower, so we went up there.
Her door was locked. Nobody was answering. So I made Fitz kick down the door.
Poppy and I went in. Freya was right there, laying on her back.
I left my tower and headed down towards the Grand Hall.
But in the hall, I spotted Uncle Pointer heading down the stairs. I vacated the library, but before I could begin my ascent, Professor Pointer appeared.
I didn't know what to do. So I ran downstairs to get Fifi.
I heard someone heading down the stairs. Just outside my room.
Someone began banging on the door. I ignored it until the someone began shouting at me.
Eventually, she let me in.
I spotted Detective Hawkshaw coming out of the library.
He emerged from the Pointer staircase, crossed the hall, and begun up the fellow staircase. As I was passing through the front door, Penelope called out from behind me. I inquired about the professor, and she told me he'd gone up the fellow tower.
I told her what had happened. She didn't believe me. She got angry.
I thought she was playing a trick on me, so I punched her in the face.
I recognized Fiona's voice as well as the voice of my own daughter.
We left the room, and Poppy's father was waiting outside. He followed us upstairs.
I ran up the stairs, hoping to catch up with him, but Felix appeared and blocked my path.
Back in the hallway, I bumped into a very concerned-looking Penelope. She was heading up Fellow Tower to find Professor Pointer. So I escorted her.
Poppy left left the room for a while. When she came back, she had her father with her, and Fifi too.
Felix and Penny arrived shortly after we did.
A moment later, we were gazing down on the body of poor Frey.
Then, I took a sample of the red paint on the unfinished painting.
She took me down to the library. We were in there about 15 minutes.
I quickly decided that I should leave also. I took Penelope with me, and we both went back to our rooms in Pointer Tower.
I wanted to go back to my room, but I realized nobody had told Detective Hawkshaw anything.
An unremarkable hour passed before the gardener finally made his appearance.
I think she was annoyed about being made to wait outside so long. But when I told her about Freya, she fell silent.
That's disappointing.
What is?
All the statements line up with each other.
They don't just line up. Some of them even seem to specifically confirm each other. I'm still not sure.
Should we take another look?
Let's come back later. Should we ring?
Why would we not? It's a little melody.
It's one of those.
Don't touch it.
Why not?
Might be haunted.
Yeah, it's mine.
Can you play the tune for us?
Sure. It's literally 8 notes. I have it memorized.
Do you know where those earmuffs came from?
I put them there.
Why?
Found them lying around. I think they belonged to Fitz. I put them on the statue so he'd see them. I thought they looked like headphones. Like he's in the recording studio with his guitar. No?
If they do belong to Fitz, he hasn't taken them back yet. When did you find them?
This morning.
Where?
I don't know, in a hallway. Can't remember exactly. I see a lot of birds up in the rooftop garden. They seem to really like it up there.
Why's that?
It's quiet. I don't know what that is.
Weird, considering we found it hidden in your room.
Well, my room is full of junk. There's probably a bunch of stuff hidden in there. I don't mean like... Please stop talking to me.
Sure, why not?
To search the archive, downright poetic.
A book. My book.
And what's in it?
Pages. That blade.
It's a troll.
It is.
It is?
Freya drew these.
Yeah, I think so. There's a note on the back.
But she never showed them to me.
Well, I think it was a gift for your mother. Like a private thing between Freya and Flora.
Why did Poppy leave shards of glass all over this statue?
What makes you think it was Poppy?
The statue lives in the music room. Who else would it be? I am scared of birds.
Why?
It is an irrational fear. I have no suitable explanation.
Oh.
Oh.
Now this is interesting. Where did you find it?
In the astronomy tower.
And yet, it does not concern the field of astronomy.
Nope.
In fact, you could even say that entomology is the exact opposite of astronomy.
Yeah, you could.
I would not say that, however.
Oh, you wouldn't?
No,
Oh.
it would be quite naive. To study science in any field is to study the connections between all matter in the universe, living or inanimate.
Who is that in the photo?
I'm quite sure that I have no idea.
不熟。
An item from Poppy's childhood. Her earliest piano lessons hold some special significance for her.
Why's that?
No idea. She has never graced me with the details, and I am not forthcoming enough to ask.
You two are friends, right?
We are, yes.
But
It is clear to me now that Poppy has become tired of my company.
is it anything to do with Freya?
Oh, no. The changes in Poppy's mood have nothing to do with Freya. Her concerns simply lie elsewhere. It is a flower. It reminds me of something, but I cannot say what. Who is this her to whom the message refers?
Well, I don't know exactly.
Then how can I meaningfully evaluate this object? Next!
Next.
What a mess. Penelope should tidy up after herself.
These weren't dropped by Penny. They were dropped by birds, I think.
My argument stands.
What's wrong?
Earmuffs do not go on statues.
Hmm.
Yes, it's my my flower.
You don't like it?
I'm no good at caring for plants. I forget to water them. Birds are much easier. They're a lot more vocal when they get thirsty.
Do you at least like the look of the flower?
The look?
The colors? The shape of it?
Between you and me, I think it's a little vulgar. That's rather strange now, isn't it?
We found it in your room.
Just lying around, was it?
Nope. You'd hidden it, but we found it.
We do that.
Who's the her in the message? And what's the deal with the petals?
It's really none of your business. There used to be all kinds of birds here at Tangle Tower. The most fascinating breeds, all totally unique.
Used to be? There are birds all over the place.
Most of them are rather ordinary, I'm afraid.
What happened to the non-ordinary ones?
That is a very good question. Somebody taking an interest in extinct animals.
This
Extinct.
Oh, yes.
this game is complicated. Yeah, it
Most
is.
of the birds in it are long gone.
Well, what about this bird, though? The ink dip.
This one was thought to be extinct for a long time. Then one was found here at Tangle Tower.
So it's not extinct.
You misunderstand. It was the last one. The very last.
Oh.
Lovely. I
lovely.
must say the girls are awfully well behaved today. I think they know we're in the presence of company.
They belong to you. Why do you keep them in a cage?
They need a special diet, particular treatment. I let them out to fly occasionally, of course. But they're all one of a kind. I couldn't let anything happen to them.
Do they have names?
Of course. Let me introduce you to Tabitha, Tamara, and Tatiana.
I've already forgotten all 3 of those names.
Which one is which?
Oh, that's simple. Tatiana is the oldest, Tabitha is the most patient, and Tamara has the best sense of rhythm.
Glad we cleared that up.
What about the one on your head?
On my head? He's just my hat. He doesn't have a name. Who would name their hat?
你不说谁知道这他妈是你的头
Looks a little simple for Poppy,
你
doesn't
的
it? Thought she was a grade 12 or something.
帽子。
I didn't know there were that many grades.
I'm sure they invented some new ones just for her.
Just for her. You sound so jealous.
Worse. How she looks here, or how she looks now.
Do you know who this is? In the photo?
Oh, absolutely no idea. Not a fan of insects myself. Whose research is this?
We were hoping you might know.
No, can't say I... Freya, perhaps. I know she was always very fond of grubby little things like this.
Noted.
Haven't seen this one in a while. He lives in the music room, doesn't he?
Currently.
What's that bird? Well, these must have been drawn at least a year ago. Oh, how sad. Ooh, a secret diary.
That's our guess too.
Excellent. Very nice.
You've seen these before?
Yes.
All of them. Even this one of...
Yes. Freya was very talented, even at that age.
Do you know how old this photo is?
Not sure. Must be a couple of years at least. Sometime before Fiona settled on her current style. I know a lot of people rather like this painting, but it's a little much for me. I find it overbearing. And for some reason, it makes me feel bad for Freya. I think she was more troubled than we knew. If I'm not mistaken, that little red and white one is supposed to be a bird of some kind. A bit vain to carve wooden figurines of oneself, isn't it? Ooh, delightful. More of a gemstone than a fruit, isn't it?
Inedible, too, I think.
Yes. At one point, I thought Fitz might be growing them to sell them. But honestly, I think he just likes the way they look.
好可爱啊！
I don't know what that is.
他不高兴的时候，嘴巴是一个就是朝上的爱心；
But then she was always
他高兴的时候，嘴巴是一个正常的爱心，好可爱。
Gaudy old thing, isn't it? Flora seems very fond of it. I've never understood why. But then I could say the same thing about her husband.
Heyo!
How terrible.
You recognize it?
The color scheme. 3 different pinks. Obscene. Poppy's gramophone. She's had it for a long time. As a young child, she'd call it her mama phone, on account of it belonging to her mother.
That's cute.
Oh yes, adorable. Oh, that's rather sad. I doubt Freya intended it, but the overall effect is a little unsettling. Don't you think? It's Flora that's the problem. She's an inescapably haunting presence, bless her. Hello. Who penned this juicy little number?
We don't know. It's not signed.
An anonymous letter? Classic clue. I'm
sure I've read about this creature somewhere. Don't remember anything about him playing the harp, though. Goodness me. Poppy really doesn't take care of her belongings, does she?
It wasn't in Poppy's room. It was in the little pond in the garden.
Exactly! Hardly the place for it.
Exactly.
Finally! I get to see a detective's case file.
That's a very specific thing to be excited about.
Well, only last week
Case
I asked that
file.
miserable Hawkshaw woman if I could see her case notes.
I'm guessing she said no.
Would have been much more polite if she had just said no. Instead, she was quite rude to me. Accused me of being
Quite rude to me.
a shallow sensationalist.
Sallow
Probably
sensationalist.
quite impressive. To a visitor, fresh eyes and all that.
Not to you?
Try living in it for 20 years. The sheen wears off. If it wasn't for my fits, I'd have little reason to stay.
What about inheritance? You're the next oldest pointer after your uncle, aren't you?
Well, thank you very much for phrasing it like that. But
Thank
no,
you very
any
much.
money left in the Pointer family will pass down directly to Poppy.
Is that fair?
I couldn't care less, to be perfectly honest.
There's something about those petals we found in Penny's something.
Let's ask her about it.
So, yeah, we found this.
Oh, that's nothing.
You wrote, "Now I'll get her," on a piece of paper and hid it in your room. That's not nothing.
Actually, it's not the message I wanted to ask about. It's those red flower petals.
The petals.
They're from red roses, and there's only one place in Tango Tower with red roses.
We need a clue. Something that shows the roses and who they belong to. It's a drawing of Fitz and Poppy in the rooftop garden. See what Fitz is holding?
I can't imagine what you're getting at, but it doesn't matter. I couldn't have taken anything from the rooftop garden. It's only accessible from Fitz's room or Poppy's room. How could I have taken something from a garden to which I have no access?
Is it really only accessible from those 2 bedrooms?
For most people, it would be. But don't forget, Penny's the resident ornithologist.
My dears, what are you accusing me of?
Accusing me of.
One of Penny's birds was used to spy on Poppy and Fitz and steal evidence from them. We know those two have been spending time together in the rooftop garden. I'm guessing you got paranoid. Wanted to know what they were up to.
I'm just not the jealous type. I would never suspect Fitz of anything like that. Besides, Tabitha hardly ever leaves her cage. She's certainly never flown up to the rooftop garden.
We need a clue to compare with Penny's birds. Something to prove one of them has been in the rooftop garden.
我可从来没说是你有哪只鸟啊。
Let's take a closer look at these. This yellow feather was left behind by Penny's yellow bird when it visited the rooftop garden.
I can't stand it! Knowing the two of them are hidden away up there in their private little garden. I couldn't risk spying on them myself, so I asked dear Tabitha to do it for me. I knew she'd be able to bring me back some evidence.
Sorry, Penny, but are you not overreacting a little?
You don't understand. Fitz is slipping away from me. He's so quiet with me these days. But being with Poppy, seems to bring him out of his shell. I don't know what he sees in her miserable little... I apologize. This really isn't your burden to bear.
问完了。哦，OK。
Wait, those are mine, the earmuffs. They went missing about a week ago.
What do you need earmuffs for?
I use them for gardening sometimes.
Why? You don't own a chainsaw, do you?
No. I wear them while I'm gardening, and it stops people from trying to talk to me.
That's genius.
Fitz, one of these drawings is of you? In the rooftop garden, I think? With Poppy.
Mm-hmm.
Are we done?
他拒绝 talk about it。
A flower.
Yeah, it's a flower. We found it in Penny's room.
Okay.
Mean anything to you?
Why would it?
Come on.
I don't really go into Penny's room or anywhere in Pointer Tower. I just don't have a reason to. This is a good example of how things work. I mix that soil here in the greenhouse. It's made with water from the lake.
And it makes the fruit grow all shiny and gemstony.
他也紫色头发，难道你们是？对，这是我老公。
Do with this shiny inedible fruit?
You look at it.
看到这坚实的胸肌了吗？这是我老公。对。为什么我是紫色的？因为就是为了就是跟他的头发 pair up，you know。
Penelope's 3 favorite birds. She's very protective over them.
Are they like her pets? Do they have names?
Oh, they have names. Penelope loves to name things.
Do you remember?
早安，无声。
I do not. Those petals, they,
What?
they're red. Poppy's piano music. I remember when she started learning. She's improved a lot since then.
Yeah, that's generally how it works.
Right. Of course. I've seen beetles with brightly colored shells, metallic shells even. They're relatively common, especially around here. There's a difference between that and actual gold.
It can't be actual gold. Gold is just inside the earth or whatever. You can't make it. That's called alchemy. It was a whole thing.
What's with the broken glass?
我还想问你呢，我不知道啊。
Penelope knows about birds. You should ask her instead.
Actually, I wanted to ask you about something. There's a plant mentioned on this page, see? Do you have any? In the greenhouse?
No, I don't grow that anymore. I've tried in the past. It's incredibly difficult, even for me. I could never get it to live more than a couple of weeks.
Mm, 还有什么好问的？
Who gave you that information?
Well...
We don't actually know who it was. We were contacted anonymously.
I see. And what happens if the person who contacted you turns out to be the murderer?
I never thought about that.
Honestly, that would be kind of fun. Like a twist, you know?
How odd.
OK， 没问完，要么就是没问完，要么就是有别的事儿没问完啊。
It might seem strange to you, but
我
nature
他
is
妈
quite
800个东
capable
西要
of
问，
producing
好
perfectly geometric
好
forms.
烦。
And those mountain cliff things around the outside?
We don't know much about them. They're unscalable. Not even Freya could have gone up there.
What's that?
This painting, it's speculative. There are no photographs from this angle as far as I know.
So Freya just made it up.
Let's call it an informed estimation.
Informed
That looks like it
estimation.
might belong to Poppy. It's
哦，
of
还没有
no
问过
interest to me,
Peppy。
but I overheard Poppy and Freya talking about it once.
What were they saying?
They were arguing about something, but I can't remember the details.
What do you think that is in Flora's hand?
I don't know. It does look like a knife, but Flora wasn't holding anything at all when I saw her after the murder. But there's something bothering me. Something else.
What?
When we went into Flora's room, she wasn't standing in this position.
Well, she probably would have moved around a little bit by then.
She wasn't standing at all. She was kneeling on the floor. That belongs to Poppy.
So why is it up in Flora's tower?
I'm not sure. That looks like it might belong to Poppy. It's an egg with feet.
It was locked, but we opened it, but it was empty.
Fun story. Paints are different to flowers.
I'd say so, yeah.
At any time, flowers can bloom with perfect, faultless colors. Red, blue, white. With paint, once you've tainted a color by mixing it with others, not even the most skilled painter can return it to its pure form.
Wow.
You ever seen this before, Fitz?
No, but I don't normally go into Fifi's room.
That's not where we found it.
Oh, I just thought it looks like it belongs to her. Felix made that? Huh. That's quite sweet, really.
你别说，这个制作组人还挺好的，他每一个都，他每一个东西都给了你这个不一样的这个画，但是其实有一半都没什么营养。
What's the subject matter? What's that big red thing?
Oh, I don't think it's that kind of painting. It's Fifi and Freya.
Don't you think Poppy should be in the photo too?
Maybe, maybe not. She doesn't really like crowds.
2 people isn't a crowd.
Right, but if she was in the photo, then it'd be 3.
Checkmate.
Looks like someone doesn't want you to read that book.
That's the main thing making me want to read it. This is yours, Fitz?
Yeah,
Do you use it?
I keep all my tools in the greenhouse.
That wasn't what she asked.
Did Freya draw these?
Yeah. There's a note on the back, too.
She was even closer to Flora than I realized.
Any idea who this is?
No idea.
我不
We
知
found
道。
these up in the rooftop garden. Do you know how long they've been there?
No, could have been a long time. We don't ever really clear up the rooftop garden.
Why not?
Nature is unruly. In truth, it prefers to be left alone.
This is some.
Do the plants all look a little... I think it's an egg.
A bench.
My favorite kind.
What?
Hawk.
Right. A hawk bear lizard.
There could be anymore.
嗯，
Whatever, like a little parade.
1,
Yep.
25.
Yeah.
Am I the only one seeing the problem?
This is mine.
Really?
No, well, yes, it was. I gave it to Freya about a year ago.
What was on it?
Nothing. It was blank. Freya said she wanted to record something.
Any idea how it ended up underwater?
Maybe someone wanted to destroy it, but got really lazy. Hey, that's me. Not a bad likeness.
It looks like you're standing in a rose bush.
Is there something wrong with that? You get some weird insects around here, but I've never seen one like that.
I'm not sure anyone has.
Freya might have. She used to keep beetles in a box in her room.
Why?
For fun, obviously. That belongs to Flora, I think. Is that Fifi's diary? I'm sure I've seen it in her room before.
That's where we found it.
Have you ever read it? Do you know what's written in there?
Nope. I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate me invading her privacy.
I thought you and Fifi were close friends.
Yeah, we are. It's just Fifi's gotten kinda impatient with me recently.
Do you know why?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure she'd tell you if you asked.
Oh, she would. She'd give it to me straight. Probably why I've been avoiding it. Those petals.
What about them?
It's
Nothing.
They're just unusual. Never seen that one before. Was it in the greenhouse?
No, we found it in Penny's room.
Right. I think it's kind of cruel to keep 3 birds in one cage like that.
Does Penny not let them out to fly?
Oh, she does. She must do. But I don't think they're allowed to go far. Penny can be a little protective. Don't look at me. I didn't break it.
Does anybody else use the music room?
Yes. I don't know who, but I can tell when somebody else has touched the piano. How sweet.
This is a photo of Fifi and Freya, right?
Yeah,
How come you're not in it? You're friends with them too, aren't you?
I'm not really one for photographs.
Fifi looks like she really admires Freya.
Fifi's loyalty to Freya is unshakable.
Unshakable.
I think everybody sees something different.
Did Freya ever tell you what she saw in it?
Not exactly. She said something about it being from a recurring nightmare.
Sorry, but if it was from a nightmare, why would you paint it and leave it in front of your bed?
Maybe she wanted to take control of it. Giving something a physical form can make it easier to deal with. Well, sometimes. Is that supposed to be Flora?
Possibly.
Oh, how nice. Whose paints are those?
They belong to Felix, I think.
Oh, you've been to the greenhouse? What did you think?
Impressive, I guess. But kind of unsettling, with Fitz lurking in the shadows the whole time.
Yeah, he does that. Did you find that in Fifi's room?
No. Should we have?
No, it's just... It looks like something she'd use, don't you think? Why is the glass cracked down one side?
Natural wear and tear, maybe?
No way. Freya took good care of her stuff. What was inside?
Nothing.
Huh. Freya would always load up the palette with all the exact colors she was gonna need. I think it helped her zone out and focus on the actual painting itself. Like getting all your sheet music lined up before playing a long piece.
Right.
字好
So
多
the blob of black paint in the middle, that was for painting Flora?
Flora's dress, yeah. She wears even more black than I do. When I first saw it, I thought it looked like Flora was holding a knife with blood on the tip.
You don't think that anymore?
No, it was a stupid thing to say. The room was dark. I was in shock. I'm just an idiot.
But it was blood on the tip. If you hadn't said anything, maybe Fifi wouldn't have checked.
Exactly. It's stupid.
But we would have missed out on an important clue.
Is it a clue? Really? Tell me how it's a clue. Tell me how it helps. Nothing about the knife makes any sense. It's just freaking everyone out. Wish I'd never said anything.
What do you make of the statue?
I know that's the only harp in the whole of Tangle Tower. I've never actually seen a real one.
Maybe it's from before your time.
Oh, definitely. You see how old this statue is?
What about the symbols? One of them looks like piano keys.
Yeah, weird. There's something I noticed about Freya's knife wound.
Hit me.
From what we could tell, the blade went in at an exact right angle, perpendicular to Freya's body. And there's only one small pool of blood. Nothing on Freya's hands, or anywhere else. The whole thing is just a little too peaceful.
So there are 2 families living in Tangle Tower?
Mm-hmm. 3 pointers and 5 fellows. 4 fellows.
What's the connection between them?
There isn't one. Not really. It was all built by the Remington family. Flora is a Remington, originally. So was Primrose, my mother. She married into the Pointers, and Flora married into the Fellows.
So the Fellows and the Pointers own the house now?
Flora owns the house. Depending on who you ask. That means her husband Felix owns it too.
What about your father?
His claim over the house kind of fell apart after my mother left.
Where's your mother now?
No idea.
There's something about that diary, something.
Let's ask her about it.
Is this your diary, Fifi? We found it in your bedroom.
Of course it is mine. Ridiculous question.
Why is it locked up like that?
You seriously require an explanation. Very well. A fairly common concept, the so-called secret diary, is favored in particular by girls between the ages of 10
So there are secrets written in here?
This particular diary is unused.
It doesn't look unused.
It's somebody else's diary.
How could you arrive at that conclusion? It is kept in my bedroom. It is mine.
We need a clue to compare with the diary. Something to prove who the original owner was. Let's take a closer look at this.
我瞎猜的，其实我根本不知道答案是什么，我其实是瞎猜的，但我只是没想到没中了而已。
This blue book is the opposite of the secret diary, which proves it belongs to Fifi. Now, this blue book is the same thing as the secret diary, which proves.
我其实刚才都没再仔细看，我瞎猜的。
You were hiding Freya's diary in your room, and you kept it locked too.
Why would I do either of these things?
Fifi didn't want anyone to see personal secrets within Freya's diary.
Is this true, Fifi?
I know Freya was your friend, but if you're trying to hide something...
You did not know Freya, so this might be difficult to understand. She did her own thing, in her own way. By concealing Freya's written accounts, it is simply my intention to preserve her innocence.
Innocence?
Might be easier if you just let us read the diary, Fifi.
Very well. I will open it. However, as you read it, please remember, Freya was the most kind and the most wise person I have ever known.
All right, Fifi unlocked the diary.
Finally. What's in there?
他回来了吗？这次是亲自来了，是我吗？是我放他出来的。可能我应该把那幅画撕掉， 茯苓起作用了，很厉害的小东西。现在有2个了，我还需要另外2个。我找到进去中间的路了，和竖琴相比，出乎意料的简单。我看见他们了，所有的5个人眼睛都被涂黑了。尽管发生了这一切，我还是要遵守诺言。我要尽我所能，稍稍有人从旁协助，他就能做到。
A chalkboard.
Is this a library or?
I'm not sure I learned anything from that.
等一下啊！让我来先看看族谱。
What is?
I think it's a family trait.
Selena's?
No family. Apparently, she just appeared out of nowhere.
OK， 看不懂。让我们一个个问开吧。哎。
I've seen those earmuffs before. They're the ones Fitz always
wears.
Whenever I think you. Well, now that possibly.
不想理你。
I'm not sure. I think it might be.
Primrose. My wife was a. That's a flower joke.
Interesting.
Oh my! This is the first piece that Primrose. Primrose. She passed it down.
Poppy's piano teacher.
Of course. Warms my. What a precious photo. She hasn't changed it. Oh. Perhaps I. That's rather a small. But then. Curious creature, isn't it? Some sort of.
Playing a trumpet.
Playing a. Yes, very nice. Where is that bird of Flora? It's been a while since I've seen it. Oh, you found a murder.
Steady on.
Looks like a diary can.
How do you know it's a diary?
I suppose but it does look like a. That's a very old. Looks like someone.
I like the look of better than one that's never been.
Ah. These were drawn by. She must have drawn them.
Yes.
Poppy's two closest. Freya looks. Freya was well acquainted with the abstract.
What does it
To
look...
me, it's a big.
What a fascinating.
He's right though. It is a big red.
This looks a little. Even by.
At least he tried.
Yes, I suppose. Keeps his mind. This is supposed
I think so.
I see. Fitz seems rather keen.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it makes you want. What's this?
It looks like it might be a you might know.
Well, it has a part there. It's rather. Is this
Possibly.
curious little thing? You know what she
Nothing at the moment.
How bizarre.
Can't a woman...
I haven't seen that. Who broke?
No,
Ow. Pointer prototypic. Here's a thought. After all, it was.
I guess.
High
Oh,
five.
yeah?
The knife with the whole. Where on earth?
It was in a bush outside.
How peculiar. A very old. I'd recommend you the port. Isn't the process?
It's not really decaying.
It's not exactly old.
It's enough. So which one?
What's that?
There are 2 towers.
Neither? You'd have to ask Flora.
She named the house?
The whole thing is a result
With
of.
Felix, you mean?
No, her brother Remington family was around. I don't think.
跟你说话真是一点信息都没有，我真服了。
Drink it.
They're clearly gizmo. What do people normally... They're scientists.
Does it not compare to all?
What? You're not wrong. There's something just...
Does it not compare to all the?
It's also daytime. It's also daytime. Pretty. Pretty.
It's a chart. It's a chart. Which planet are you from, Sally? The notes.
So, even the most well-used notebook. So, even the most well-used...
Miss Tiny.
So, even the most well-used notebook with no picture.
It's full.
Criminal. I want to try. It's that little
Don't
plant.
you think it would fall off?
Maybe it's glued down.
You can see.
Not by accident.
I can see Flora, but she's not looking this way. She's looking up. Behind her is the back side of the easel. I can't really see anything behind it. Not from this side. It's the tower opposite this one.
It's too dark back there.
I can just about see the ground. You can see.
Not by
I can see behind her. Can't really see. I can see the door itself is on the floor.
It's not. Maybe it's glued down.
It's the tower opposite. It's the tower opposite.
Is that a Is there another room?
We should check that next time we're over there. It's the tower opposite. Isn't this supposed to be? I'm pretty sure you need
I
to.
can't move it. I think this is just how it's set up.
There's something about something.
Let's ask him about it.
So, Professor, what interests you about astronomy exactly?
It's not a matter of being interested. Once you expand your mind to the wider universe, it cannot be unexpanded.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been an astronomer?
I really don't like to give exact values unless I'm sure I can quantify them.
Convenient.
Why do you ask me these things?
I have a theory about you, Professor.
Oh? Go on.
You're not really interested in astronomy at all.
What could you possibly mean by that?
I think you're interested in a slightly different field of research.
That's not it. That's not it. That's not it.
喂。
That's not it. That's not it. That's not it.
有点抽象，我现在有点不知道
That's not it.
选什么。我知道它是什么意思，
That's not it.
但是我不知道选什么，有点抽象现在。
I don't have time for tiny,
Oh.
insignificant insects. My studies focus only on the inconceivably large and the unimaginably far away.
Right.
That's why you like using your telescope so much.
Yes, naturally. My little portal into another world.
Yeah, about that. Pointer's telescope was actually looking at the crime scene and not up at the sky.
First, you accuse me of being a lowly entomologist. Now you're accusing me of, what, spying?
Are you spying?
Why would I need to spy on Flora?
Why? Because you lost your golden beetle specimen, and it's made you paranoid. You think somebody stole it from you.
Might not have been Flora you were spying on. Might have been Freya.
It's a very precious specimen.
你我
Incredibly rare. Valuable in ways you could never understand. Freya was always sneaking around, both towers and in the gardens too. She was definitely up to something.
So, this next question is important. You were looking to Flora's room around the time of the murder. Did you witness the crime, Professor?
No, I didn't. When I looked into the room, Flora was already lying on the floor.
Flora? You mean Freya?
No, Flora. She was lying by the window. I couldn't see Freya at all. It was fairly dark. The telescope isn't at a very good angle. That's why I decided to head over there myself. I needed to know what was going on.
This changes your statement, doesn't it?
No, everything I told you in my statement was true.
Apart from the reason you left your tower in the first place.
Right.
Freya was definitely up to something.
Something to do with the statue in the garden.
Maybe we should go back and check.
This was.
What is it?
It's a little wooden toy. Looks kind of like.
There's a note.
What does it say? Grimoire?
这是我的新朋友，他喜欢音乐，简单的曲调能够打动他灵魂，祝你们好运。Okay.
What do you think?
How?
Why don't we check the handwriting?
Good idea.
Well,
It's a perfect match.
well, it's confirmed we have a ghost helping us.
Let's keep this to ourselves for now.
What about the little wood?
Maybe we can put it to some.
未达成之事。OK，朋友们是这样的，我真的非常的想先下播，但是我很好奇。
It's one of those big.
Don't touch it.
Why not?
Might be haunted.
但是我真的很好
Yeah,
奇。
it's mine.
What's so special?
I got it.
How
from
long have you
since
been?
the day I was really excited. When I arrived at us were 2 whole.
Was Freya any good?
She would have been even. One day she
Why?
just. That's just it. There was no reason. That's when I realized things were different.
Can you play the tune for me?
Sure.
《门铃》、钢琴，还有什么来着？鸟是不是有一个鸟？我记得。
The bird got the brow. It totally. I don't. I do by weight. I can.
My little
There's
one?
nothing written in the book.
And
And it's home to 3 especially fancy birds.
already solved it.
Looks rude. That's a big window.
鸟会是什么呀？还有一个嘴，谁会唱歌啊？ Can you sing?
It's piano music.
"等下路线换。好想你啊！
Weird.
It's someone humming a tune. There's something about something.
Let's ask Poppy about it.
啊，还差一个，还差一个鸟，鸟，鸟，鸟，鸟，鸟，鸟，鸟。没有谁有那种发音盒一类的东西吗？ OK， 问完他我就出门。
Confirm away.
What can you tell us about this cassette tape? Is it yours?
手机还有电吗
It belongs to Freya. She liked to have music playing while she was painting, you know.
And do you know what kind of music is on this tape?
No idea. That's like jazz.
It's piano music. Sounds an awful lot like your music, to be honest.
Sure it doesn't belong to you?
Why are we even talking about this? Cassette tapes have been redundant for a good few years now.
The tape was found at the crime scene. It was in the gramophone.
It's not mine. I'd never own anything like that.
Why not?
Not my color.
You used to like these colors.
Ridiculous.
We need a clue to compare with the cassette tape. Something that proves Poppy used to like these colors. Let's take a closer look at this. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the pink cassette player that
然
was
后晚
found
安
in，
晚
Poppy's.
安，祝你做个好梦。
Almost. Maybe. The pink cassette tape found at the crime scene matches the
凌
pink
晨2
cassette
点多，
player used by Poppy in
对
this
吗
old？ photo.
现在为什么还醒着呀？
That is not me.
Yeah, it is. I'll prove it.
"我会梦到你的
You look a
呀
little，different,
要梦到
but
我啊
Fifi and Freya
要梦
are
到
pretty
跟
recognizable.
我
It's clearly
共
a
度
photo of
春
you and your
宵
two best friends. Why'd you tear it up?
你要
and then
是
hide
梦
it.
到我了，要
I
跟我
think
讲
the
哦。
answer is pretty straightforward. Poppy doesn't want to look like that anymore.
That's it. Makes this whole thing seem kind of irrelevant.
我会醒着是因为太想
It
可爱的你
depends on
了
the。reason.
Reason she doesn't want to look like that anymore.
Passage of time is a powerful thing.
Hold on. This means that paint cassette tape does belong to you, Poppy.
It used to. I recorded some piano music onto it and gave it to Freya as a gift. Years ago.
Freya could have easily been listening to this tape at the exact moment she was killed. There's gotta be a connection between the tape, the gramophone, and the murder.
There's one other thing I want to know. How did it get that crack down the middle?
I have no idea.
“我不知道他愿不愿意让我开。
I'm still not
Should we take another look?
他不愿意让我开，
Let's come back later.
他不让我开。好啦，你早点休息。好啦，你早点休息。
That's all.
So,
Should
what-
we go back to the garden?
Let's try this.
You know, I think we might be... Nothing.
你呀、哦，他怎么把我之前赚的都给删掉了？操！
That's gotta be right.
Nothing. Maybe it's broken.
Wait, do you hear that?
Are we gonna go in?
Yeah, but there's a couple of things I want to do.
哦，莎莉谈谈犯罪现场，收集所有线索，收集所有的嫌疑人的疑点。
It says...
You know, there's a name.
I know.
It's not quite as. Also, it's stuffed. Nothing catchy.
Sorry.
Kinda. What's in that? I bet
little
it's a skull at
You know,
least.
maybe I won't open it.
Where's
It's
that?
just daylight. There's a decent gap between those... Is that what I think? Is that what I think? What is...
Not sure.
Looks like it might attach to something. Just...
It's a
Huh.
joke. Someone.
think it was
no
done?
idea. Either way, it's pretty suspicious.
sus。啊，OK，朋友们，今天我先玩到这里。听听波比的诗。愚蠢、英勇、轻松与戏剧性的结合体，自命不凡的态度。重要的是，他表现得非常真诚。各种红色，伪装成红色。 夏利上一个游戏长长的，这游戏还有上一个游戏。嗯，刚刚我说这个游戏没有退出键吗？我找到了，哇哈！